All right, looking at the S&P, kind of a whole lot of nothing. We are hanging out in this zone. We didn't really know it was a zone just yet. Again, I drew this zone off of these two candles. Come on now. Who do you know that can do it like that? Not that I need to brag. But anyway, again, just to reiterate in case you missed the last couple streams, you asked me to zone this out. It's at all-time highs, and all we had is this right here. And I was talking about these wicks right here, and I use the candle bodies because wicks, they're a sign of rejection or a sign of what's to come. You know, there's the heads and tails of that. But we saw this game of back and forth take place, and look at that. We are just pinning this thing. It's like they forgot the market was open. Yeah, we haven't moved at all. And I told you guys, was it last night? What's today, Monday? The night before? I said this week would probably be an option seller's dream. I think we're going to see a little bit up and down. There you have it. But I got to say, the interesting part about this is bears didn't go anywhere. That zero follow through. So if there's going to be any profit taking, anything like that, any reason to go short, you probably just have till tomorrow. The bears need to show up tomorrow. I am in QQQ puts. You know, there's nothing to break down here. I am in QQQ puts. This is a blue zone, but even you guys said earlier today, like, hey, this is really kind of acting like a yellow zone here. Like, we're really holding this thing up. And you're right. And honestly, if you're bearish, I'm in puts because again, blue zone, speed bump zone. I think we're gonna come on down. And we didn't. So I think I'm even slight. No. I am. So the QQQ puts that I bought this morning that I told you guys about, I think those are up. I did add on a little bit later. That one is down. But I will say tomorrow they're Wednesday's expiration. But I will close those tomorrow, red or green. I'm not rocking those things all the way to zero. If hopefully we gap down and they're into profit, I'll probably just close them. I'll try my best to trail them, but if you try to trail an options contract, just know that you're on borrowed time. It's about to tag out. The dream scenario is it gaps down a little bit. I put my stop in the green, and then we sell off all day, never even looking up. Then I get to come in here and say, hey, I made a whole bunch of money because it never tagged out. More than likely, if we gap down or have any kind of red overnight, I'll make a couple bucks, and that'll be it. But like I told you guys in the chat earlier, I went QQQ puts because I didn't want to hold an NQ contract. The QQQ puts for Wednesday's expiration were cheaper. They were $483 for Wednesday's expiration. That's a whole lot cheaper than any futures contract. And because where I'd have to put my stops on futures would have to be outside these wicks. So going short, I have to be at least above here. And now QQQ could jump up, tag that. I instantly lock in an L, and then it comes right back down. So my game plan for this was go QQQ puts and see where we go from there, just as a risk and capital kind of play. You guys know what red lines mean. It just means we are very range bound. Normally, we could keep an eye on this range right here, but I want to go full wicks and everything. I want to just see what we're doing. Obviously, breaking this to either side, I would be impressed if we did. Breaking these this week, a break and a close, I bet we do tag one of the expected moves. While I am in QQQ puts, I got to say, hopefully tomorrow is red. I'm kind of bullish regardless. Hope I don't take an L first. But I don't think there's going to be fireworks this week, but I kind of think I would rather buy the dip than it just go up from right here. If it stayed bullish this whole week, if for some reason it's one of those just ultra eerie, quiet weeks, I'd probably be pretty decently long over the weekend. It would take quite a bit to do that, though. Let's see what's next. As far as QQQ, expected moves, nothing to go there. We talked about being bullish last night on the Russell, and that would have tagged out. Who was it? Tom Lee? Everyone buy small cap. I have seen so many Tom Lee thumbnails on YouTube. It's driving me nuts. Did he say something right? The guy usually says the same thing over and over again. I'm not talking bad about him, but he didn't just show up out of nowhere, and the thumbnail sure did. Like, they're everywhere. You guys remember when Kathy Wood was just in Tesla and all of a sudden she was like the star? No one talked about how Kathy Wood has actually blown up 2 other firms. And the one she's on now, third time's a charm, it's working out. But like she was just the star. Not that I've ever looked into Tom Lee, or again, I'm not talking bad or even referencing that, but what's weird to me, and since it's such a psychological game, it's when I see a bunch of people tie on to one thing, running a chat, having a channel, you get to kind of see a little bit of everything. And man, it's like they just herd the sheep around, and you just get to see where the guardrails are at. Like, okay, so we're gonna take it that way. I see how we're doing things now. I couldn't find a rhyme or reason as to why there's so many Tom Lee thumbnails out there right now. The only timeline is Tommy Lee from the drummer. uh, just go on YouTube. Surely it's Tom Lee. Hope I say anything wrong. Anyway, I don't know or care who Tom Lee is. Hope I'm saying his name right. But I know who Stan Lee is. Now I'm curious. Let me just go check. Hang on. I'll tell you right now because I'm going to pull up YouTube and there's going to be 42 thumbnails for me to pick from. And then I'll tell you right now. I just got to log into Don Fran Show. Because now I feel like I'm saying it wrong. It's going to be something different. It was all this morning. I know that. Give me 2 seconds. All I'm doing is I'm on my homepage. I had to look up how to edit stuff on a Mac without it taking up all my memory, and now I'm getting a bunch of those recommended. Okay, 2 more seconds, and I'm just gonna look up a couple YouTubers that I know talked about it. I see why YouTube notifications are algo ran. This is very quiet, isn't it? It's a lot quieter when I'm just sitting here by myself, not talking. Hang on. You know who really likes the guy? Tom Nash. Tom Lee. Okay, yeah, it's Tom Lee. Okay, don't make me question myself like that. Long day in the sun, it's okay. Tom Lee is a perma bull. He called out that IWM would go up 50% by end of the year. He's walked back from that. A lot of people, there's a lot of investors that call out small cap a lot, and I understand why. I get the basis why. I mean, you guys know I'm mostly tech. I'm just going to be that forever. You have to really build a case for me for small tech, or not small tech, small cap. But yeah, he is saying a lot. It is the same tune as far as buy small cap. How's he panning out so far? Because this is what's going to come up next too. He called it in January. Where's? All right, here we go. Because every time somebody does something, like YouTubers love to do this too. Like when they don't really have a case for anything, so they just talk about year to date. Where's it at? January. Year to date, small cap is up 13%. Did you whole account everything January 1st? Because then you'd be up that much. You probably didn't, though. You either bought later or you've owned it before, and then you got to account for the weird ride you had on the way down. In that case, you're not green, you're just less red, and that's a huge difference that YouTubers don't really talk about. There's a very big difference there. Are you actually green, or are you just a little bit less red? Please stop saying you're up. Stop talking about year to date. They cherry pick stuff like that. It makes me want to come through the screen.